example of when ideas get out of control. I've got to find it on the video. Right, give me a second. I've got a drag and drop there, isn't it?
I love this laptop because it's the first laptop that let me watch How to Train Your Dragon after it came out in the cinema, and he bought me the DVD for like an hour, and I was just there in my room watching it going, I love it.
It was quite funny, it was like, where's Claire?
I'm watching How to Train Your Dragon on
But it was more like people in the room.
On a road.
Yes, being happy.
Excellent.
You look pleased with yourself.
I am. Everything's ready for KeyTCon 2010.
And not a moment too soon. People have started arriving already.
And I'll find us here, ready and waiting. Nothing could go wrong.
You just had to say it, didn't you?
I'm so sorry.
Guys, we have a situation.
What is it?
It's one of the Congoers. It's
Dramatic.
mutated into a sweaty, filthy, gigantic force of geeky destruction. They call him Taku Prime.
My God. I think we need to get the military in on this one.
We already tried that.
And?
And an entire regiment was wiped out by trying to sneak up and attack from behind.
My God.
They never stood a chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is clear to me that no ordinary agency can deal with this threat. And the very future of KeyTCon is at stake.
You mean?
Yes, it's time to call the Keita Rangers.
Alcoholic pressure! Yeah, enough. Yeah, that was like about 2.5 minutes in, and this thing goes on for about 10 minutes in total. I mean, as you can see from the first bit, that could have been a far, far tighter production. I mean, the bit with all the Ranger introductions should have been shortened up considerably. The problem is, when you think you've come up with a good idea, it's very easy to get drawn into the idea and trying to put all this extra bullshit in, and you think, yeah, that's really funny, that's great, let's keep throwing shit at it. But as what happened with that one, it gets a bit out of control. So whenever you're coming up with an idea, try and keep to 3 minutes. I mean, there's a rough, general and fast rule when you're writing a script. Roughly 1 A4 page of script equals to roughly about 1 minute of time. So if your script is going beyond 3 pages, it is probably too fucking long.
Get an editor.
Yeah. Another point, get an editor. I mean, when you're coming up with an idea, I mean, when you're putting it together, it's good to have somebody who's not actually involved in the skit to have a look over it, view it. If they're reacting positively to it and they're entertained, then that's probably a good sign, but it's also a good way of like establishing what bits should be cut and what things should stay. Because otherwise, as what happened with that one, it becomes a bit of an out-of-control monster, because it did have its entertaining moments, but 10 minutes is far too long for any kind of comedy routine like that, it was basically a one-trick pony joke, and we just took it a bit too far.
The problem was that I'm normally Keith's editor, and I was in this one, as you can see, and I got really into it, and I really loved the idea. I thought it was, and if you were in the video, which, I mean, some of you, any of you in it? Anybody here?
No, our usual posse isn't here at this
To
convention.
be fair, they're not but I mean, I was in it, so you know, I mean, I had like a vested interest in it, and I lost my objectivity, and I thought everything was amazing, you know. Whereas it's best to like have an editor who comes in at the end and says like, oh, that can be cut, that's a bit long, that conversation seems a little bit stilted, you know. And other than someone who's just like, this is amazing, you know, because that's great, yeah, that's good for the audio, but not good for keeping the time down.
So yeah, I ideally get. What?
It's like the mum test.
Yeah, that's a good analogy, because we've actually had a couple of our skits my parents have really enjoyed, and that's usually a good, despite how that sounds, that's usually a good sign, because if my parents enjoy it, it usually means it's pretty damn funny if it gets through to them.
They're a tough crowd, man.
Yeah, my parents are complete shit. So yeah. Yeah, I know, but yeah, I ideally get someone who's not involved in the production to view over your. Well, ideally at the beginning, have a look at your script to see if they think it's funny or not, and it's a good way of cutting out crap that you don't need, because otherwise you end up with something that's far too long. So yeah, as a general rule, keep it to 3 minutes, very outside 4 or 5, but try and keep it to 3, because most convention organisers get a bit pissy if you go beyond that limit. So don't do that. Right, when you're putting a skit together, if it involves, basically another general rule of thumb, the more people it involves, the more stupidly complex it's going to get. So ideally try and keep the number of people involved down, but especially if you're going to do a live performance as well, because yeah, if you're going to do a live performance, make sure that you practice at some point beforehand, because if you just get together on the day to run through it, 99 times out of 100, it's all going to go horribly, horribly wrong. So make sure you've got people you can rely on who won't flake out on you, because, well, otherwise you might have the best idea in the world, but if somebody who's like a key integral component to it, somebody comes up to you on convention and says, yeah, I couldn't be bothered with that cosplay, I'm not doing that, and then your whole skit idea is sunk, and yeah, you're screwed basically, you can't do it. So make sure, if you've got other people involved, make sure they can be relied upon, and they don't mind being abused as well, because certainly with the stuff we do, I've put various people I know through so much bullshit for the skits that we put on.
And people still want to be in our videos, and we're like, why? You'd never say that if you'd actually been in one of our videos. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's a horrible experience. Horrible, horrible thing. I mean, as you might have called involved, because nobody who's actually been involved in one of our skits is actually here at the moment. Oh, Adam, actually, yeah. You've been involved in one of ours and you're still here, because you're sitting in there, obviously.
You made me jump into Mike's arms.
That was funny, though.
That was hot, though. That was so hot.
You broke our sword, so you know, it's all fair, really.
Yeah, you broke the sword, man. That wasn't cool. That wasn't cool. But yeah, make sure you've got people you can rely on and don't mind being abused, because certainly because our stock in trade is video stuff, it does mean we put people in all sorts of awkward situations and positions, so yeah, especially positions. So you don't want people who are going to flake out on you just because you want to bend them over and show their arse on a camera in front of like 500, 600 people. Yeah, it's majestic. So yeah, make sure you can rely on people. Right, skit structure now. Yeah, I do have a plan. No, just general overview. Right, probably should have mentioned it earlier, but whatever idea you come up with, a good rule of thumb for the way it should roll is 3-stage process: setup, build up, and punchline. Pretty much will. I mean, those general rules of thumb apply to any kind of skit, well, skit, be it dramatic or anything else. Something that gets the audience involved, knows what's going on. Middle section, build up towards whatever your main punchline is, or dramatic moment if you do something dramatic. And then they suddenly realise, I didn't want to come here. So I'm going to go. Right. You make me sad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, likely.
You've gone to a far more depraved place.
No. That was not enough build-up, okay? The punchline wasn't working.
Oh, the punchline was weak, yeah. Yeah, set it build up and punchline, because once you get to the dramatic moment at the end of whatever performance you do, it's probably best to end it there, because the worst thing in the world is to have a really awesome moment, be it dramatic, comedic, dance or otherwise, and everybody's going yeah, and then you keep on going far too long, and all that positive reaction suddenly bleeds out. So instead of being remembered as, oh yeah, that guy was awesome, you become remembered as that guy was a bit, so yeah, not a good thing.
And they have
Yeah, because remember, whatever you do, the audience are assholes. I mean, all of you right now, grade A assholes. All of you. I don't mean it in an offensive way, but an audience is a horrible, horrible creature to entertain because the slightest thing wrong, they will pick you apart. Which is another point, actually, because people seem surprised by this, but they come to conventions, events organised by people in their spare time, amateurs, full of events organised by amateurs, and then when they go to a performance event, which is again full of people who are amateurs, they're surprised when it isn't like a professional performance. It's like, what the fuck?
Did you not spot the pattern?
Special effects are a bit...
I mean, to be honest, it's a bit of a bugbear of mine. You've got to realise when you go to these things, it's not going to be perfect. I mean, we do quite well, but at the end of the day, all amateur stuff. You're not going to get a professional performance, and people seem to forget that for some bizarre goddamn reason when they're watching skits. It's just like, oh, why didn't you have a full fucking sound and light show? Why didn't you give a delivery reminiscent of like Laurence Olivier? And it's like, yeah, you did the other day. You looked me in the eye and said, why was your delivery not like Laurence Olivier? And I was just like, oh, you bitch. Oh, you do, really.
The marriage counselling panel.
Don't you find yourself sometimes wishing that there was like a minimum you must suck this little to get in?
They've tried that though.
I know.
Filtering, it doesn't work.
Yeah, filtering. Yeah, there's a lot of the abuse that comes out of these events is why did you let these people on stage?
Please, who are they?
Which is cruel, very cruel, and to a certain extent I can understand. But even the worst act I have seen on stage,
Lovely people.
I will not have a go at, because at the end of the day, these poor bastards have. Yeah, they have volunteered to go on stage in front of an audience of, at the very minimum, hundreds of people. In the case of Ayacon, we're hitting by thousands, well, 1,000 level, and putting themselves on show against the most vicious audience in the world, because they're all there, usually on Twitter or fucking Picto Chat. The instant you do something wrong, it's just like there, right away, either a picture of a penis or... Yes, Dave?
Have you guys ever actually seen the shit that flies around on Picto Chat when you're on stage?
Now, I've often contemplated actually having a DS with me, just so I can see what the shit is going on. But I figure it's probably too fucking demoralising.
It might be quite interesting to link the DS to the screen and just pop it up in the middle just to...
Oh god, if we did that, it would just... I mean, it's hard enough for people as it is without actually having a live Picto Chat thingy, because that would be awful. Imagine that. Just non-stop penises with whoever the actor's face on the front of it.
In.
Yeah, I forget what my original point was.
You're talking about the audience being shit.
Right, set up, build up, punchline. Right, I'm going to give you an example of that in a second, actually, because setup's important, because regardless of what kind of act you do,